Shit moms won't say.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Shit Moms Won't Say. My guest tonight was everyone's first childhood crush. She was definitely mine, but it's only weird if I make it weird, so I will not make it weird. But where you may know her from now, she's an amazing actor, director, producer, you name it, she does it. Best known for playing Al on Step by Step, so all of my 90s kids are like, yes, fuck yes, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Mom of two, Christine Lakin. Welcome to my humble slice of the planet. Thank you for being here. Oh my God,
Jess, thanks for having me.
Are you kidding?
And you can make it weird.
I will make it weird. I don't know how to not make it weird. We'll talk about your podcast. That's my whole aesthetic. 100. Are you kidding? Al was like the first, and I know Al wasn't gay. Okay, Al wasn't gay, please. But for a little lesbian sitting on Long Island, I was like, hey, Al.
Hey, Al. No, yeah. Al might have been a little gay. I mean, Al might have been bi. Definitely, I think would have been bi
at least
at some point in her life, for sure.
Totally agree. Yeah.
I loved playing that role so much because I really was a tomboy growing up. I don't know if we're even supposed to use that term anymore, but I never really felt like the girly girl. I always I danced and stuff. I wasn't great at sports because I was so little, but I always felt like that personality that she had was the personality I wanted in my real life. So I felt very empowered.
I love it. And you can use tomboy. I'll give you lesbian immunity on that. You can have it.
Okay.
I grant you tomboy terminology. There you go. It's say whatever you want. So let's jump into the Big Mom 3 before we get into some other fun stuff. So,
okay,
ready? Rapid fire. First question of Big Mom 3. Did you always know you wanted to be a mom?
Yes and no. I thought I always wanted to be a mom. And then I really started thinking specifically about it when I was in my 30s. And my mom was like, are you ever having children? And I was like, would be nice if I had someone to do it with. And then I was like, no, hold on. I really do want to be a mom, and I got to find the right partner to do this with. So then it became a much different conversation with myself about
So you
really
cart
what
before the horse that you was a little cart before
the
horse. You're like, yeah, I need the kids, but let me find the person now.
Let me find the person. Let's get serious about what this means. I was starting to watch my friends have kids and lose their minds. And I was like, oh, you've got to be you're going to be tethered to this person. Make sure that you do this. If you're going to do this, do this with the right guy for me.
Yeah.
So it's it was a fantasy before when I was like, of course I want children. And then I was in my 30s and I was like, I don't know if I don't find the right person, this is going to be horrible. And also crap, I'm now 32 and I'm loving my my life without all these responsibilities. And then I started to get sad and I was like, no, I think I really want to have kids. So
because people don't realize until you're in your 30s, 30s are lit. 30s where that's
30s where it's at.
That's where you stop giving a shit about everything.
And you start having 30 all the time.
Right. What did I waste all that time being drunk in my 20s? I should have picked that up at 30.
I should have not been crying so much, wearing the weirdest clothes ever, caring so much that I thought everyone cared about what I thought. Stop. My 30s, I was having the best time. And then I was like, oh, but I also want kids. Okay, cram it all in, do all the things, get pregnant. Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
I love it.
Pretty much, it's vomit in reverse.
Yeah, you ate it. You took it. That's a hard. Yeah, you just kind of took it back in. So what's the breakdown? I know the breakdown, but for everyone out there, what's the breakdown of your kids?
So I have 2 kids. My daughter is 5, just turned 5, and my son is 2.5. Oh, they are almost 2.5 years apart to the day. It's crazy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's her birthday's in March and my son's birthday's in September.
Very cool. Okay.
And it's great. I have to say, I have a girl first, and Georgia is not from this planet. She has been living here many, many lifetimes. I truly believe this. I think she is like much more wise than any of us. She is on a different vibrational plane. People meet her and they're like, who the hell is your daughter? And I'm like, I don't know.
You're like Amelia Earhart.
I mean, the things she says, the comfortability she is in her own skin, it's crazy. And then there's my son, who is like the human meatball. He's just like, I'm gonna make you laugh, but I'm also gonna try to get away with everything. Like he's a
I love it.
wrecking ball terror, but really cute while he's doing it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Good answer. Okay, second question of Big Mom 3. What is the shittiest or most backhanded piece of advice you've ever gotten from another mother or parent? And I know we only have so much time together, so it's like,
I know,
it's
right?
tough because there's so many.
I'm trying to think. I mean, God, there's so many things I'd block out from things people would say. You know, I'd probably say like advice. I don't know, but people would do that kind of thing where they would like compare their babies, but it's mostly just because they want to show off something or to make themselves feel better about something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, look at how good, blah, blah, blah walks. And like your kid's like not walking yet or something, as to show off. Or like to test gauge on like, does your kid eat this? Because my kid won't touch it. Like, look at how much better. Yeah.
Hey, I just gauging everyone's advice about strollers. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I have this one. She's like, really? I've heard that one is like really not good. And it has major hazards. And did you want
a fucking stroller?
Telling you
stroller.
I thought you wanted advice about. Oh no, you want to shame me about my stroller? That's what you actually want to do.
That's it. They want to let you know you're doing it wrong. Yeah.
I was always like, mute.
Oh my God. And like the internet has become a cesspool for moms. It's awful.
Oh gosh. You really gotta like have a very thick skin as a mom, because it is there are so many people out there to tell you how to do it, right? And to tell you that you need this product or you're a terrible mom, or that, because so-and-so is doing it this way and that's the way it's always been done. Like, how dare you try to change the norms? So yeah, I think you have to, and it's hard because you're thrust into this position having really no experience.
None.
Aside from some babysitting and maybe a class or a book that you read once. So it's kind of like, hi, we'd like you to go to the moon. Here's a book on going to the moon. And we're going to throw you into like a weekend class. It's like 4 sessions. We'll teach you how to birth out, like a small alligator, and just and then you'll just go to the moon and you'll know how to do it. You're like, great, sounds like let's sign up.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be so fun.
Will come out of your body and everything will be fine.
And don't kill him.
What?
Kill him. Just try not to kill him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, so, you have like quite a platform on Instagram. Like you've used like your sort of like like celebrity fame for some pretty cool shit. And like, obviously we're gonna get that into a second. Like my slice of the platform world is a little bit smaller. I've had to like really navigate being okay with what people say to me. Like
100%.
It's tough. Like I had this little video of my perfect ballerina daughter, and no one can tell me any other, like, go viral. It was very cool. Like hundreds of thousands of people watching this video of my little daughter dancing. I took it down. Like I took it down because I was like, nope, people are saying mean shit about my kid, like, or questioning like why I would post this about my kid. And I was like, nope, I'm done. Yeah. Not doing it. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
People just want to come at you.
For sure. And, it's, and again, like, I think you have to, if you have like a higher perspective on it, which I've really tried to adopt, because if you're going to live any kind of your life in the public eye, which, let's be honest, isn't reserved for people in the entertainment industry anymore. We're all living some version of our life online. Then you have to look at it. Everybody's having their own experience. And a lot of the things that sound judgmental or that sound like someone's coming at you, a lot of it is fear based on someone else's part. So, whether they're like, why isn't my child not doing this thing? Well, I'm going to point out everything's wrong with that person's post, and it's like, it has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with them. So frankly, it's not me, it's you.
That's right.
That's what I like.
If people walk away from this episode with nothing else, it's not her.
It's not me. It's you.
Your fault. You suck. No one else. Perfect. All right. Third question, the Big Mom 3. What is a skill? What am I doing? Like, get rid of this pen. What is a skill or superpower that you had before becoming a mom that you think has really helped you as a mom?
100%. And I think I used to resent this superpower until I looked at it as a superpower. Okay. I am a very type A individual and have been for much of my life. I managed to go to, school and get straight A's and be on a set and go to college and also do this and have an acting career and, have a dinner party on the weekend. Like, this has always been my life. And that is how I thrive. I thrive in all of these things. And as a mom, it's like, I can pack a diaper bag. I can pack my kids. I can think of a grocery list on a Tuesday for what I'm going to need on a Saturday and a Sunday. Like, and I used to really resent that this all fell on me. I was like, just because I'm good at it, why do I have to be the person that makes all the airline trips and tickets and reservations and knows all the doctor's appointments? And then I started to think about it differently. And I was like, no. This is what I'm good at. And it's what I do as a director. It's why that job for me is like, it's like mind-blowingly perfect, because I manage all these little different things at the same time. And if I can do it as a career, why wouldn't I do it for my family?
It's power.
So like, it's like, get over yourself and make that grocery list. Yeah. So it's like, and I have to say, like, I do enjoy it to a degree. The only thing I don't enjoy is being the perpetual snack bitch. And that's just like part and parcel, I think, with being a mom. Because my kids always know I got a sneaky snack somewhere.
You got a sneaky
just it's like just in case snack when the kids got stuck in traffic.
Here you go.
I was like, yeah, exactly. Here's a bar. Crushed. Eat it.
It's delicious. Yeah, it's so funny. A lot of moms that I've had on here, a lot of them in the entertainment space, a lot of them in the very upper echelon of social media mommy world, that's their answer. The type A thing, it's not all bad. If you were to, and I've said this before on here, if you were to look at my desk, you'd be like, she's nuts, because it has to be a certain way or I can't operate. We were joking before we started filming, if it's not in here, it's not happening. Right. Every single thing is scheduled to the minute, and it ends up falling on you. I bet even with your friends, plans and things. People are like, what is Christine doing? What's she doing about it? Everybody's like, well, we'll wait till hear what Jess thinks.
Right. And I mean, and I try to look at it I love for my life to be full. I love to make time to see my friends and, have an outdoor barbecue or go on that walk with that friend. And I love the connection. So when people are like, oh my gosh, how do you do so much in a day? I'm going to squeeze as much life out of this experience as I can.
Good for you.
So that's just kind of, and then, I also do the thing where I have to hermit for 2 days because I'm way too tired to do anything. So,
of course. But then you're entitled to complain about it. And I think that's something, I hope everybody hears this real loud and clear. If you're a type A and you are go, those 2 hermit days, take them to complain the whole time about how tired you are. You've earned it. You've earned it.
I mean, I will do all the things and then I'll say, I'm going to take a bath now. And I just come up to my room and I lock the door and no one's allowed to disturb me for at least 30 minutes. And
only 30. Good for you.
Yeah, at least 30. They usually start banging on the door sometime between 45 and 50. And then I usually don't answer. I pretend as though I'm underneath the water.
I've died. Mommy's died. She's not available.
Not there anymore.
Yeah, I'm not there. My daughter just learned how to bang on the door. She's 1.5. So I'll hear during the day, mama. I'm like, mama's busy.
Yeah.
Mama's doing something and it's nothing.
Mama's doing nothing. Our gay uncles came over for George's birthday.
Love a good gunkle.
They love the gunkles. And they spoil my children beyond belief. It's crazy. We love them so much, but they are spoilers. And of course they got her for her 5th birthday, a Barbie dream house, which she was gaga. I mean, crazy for. And they give it to her at 6:00 at night. And she's so excited. And oh my God, we have to open this. And we have to put it together. And we're like, no, we're not putting it together tonight. We'll do it tomorrow. Anyway, we finally get her up to bed. And she goes to bed. The next morning, I kid you not, 5:30 a.m., I hear rustling. I'm like, what's happening? What's going on downstairs? My husband Brandon's like, don't pretend we don't hear them. By 5:45, it's a full on da 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 da. The two of them are down there like making up like cheerleading chants. The pieces are scattered everywhere, and they have recruited him down to the ground floor to start building this thing. The next day, the Gunkles were like, "Oh my gosh, you guys!" It was 9:30. I sent them a picture. You got that up quick. I was like, "Oh, honey, we've been up for hours, building that thing." So,
and it's your fault.
Yeah.
Note to non-parents: stop giving kids shit after 6 p.m.
That's right.
Stop. Totally if you want to give them presents, like there's a 3 o'clock cutoff.
Yeah, that's right. Totally. Anything that has to be put together, no.
That's it. Right. If I need an hour to put it together, they need to be playing with it at latest 3:30.
Definitely. That's it. Otherwise, we don't get enough time in.
No, because then you got to go, dinner, bath, bed. We can't have that variable in between. It fucks up our whole life.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
100%.
You get off of that sleep schedule, your life's hell for like 2 weeks after.
Oh yeah. My parents were just here. My parents are vaccinated. They hadn't seen the kids in a year. My mom literally was like, okay, we got the second vax. When can we come? And I'm like, great. So they came out, they surprised my daughter for her birthday. It was
good.
I mean, precious. Like she came in and I was like, someone's here to see you. And she's like screaming and like, my mom's crying. And it was just like the greatest thing ever. And, but they're staying with us for the week. And my mom, she brings an entire suitcase that is only gifts and toys and chocolate rabbits for Easter and things she's going to bring. She brought 2 tiny hula hoops in a suitcase. I was like, Mom, she goes, I know my friends are making fun of me, but I have all these things I want to bring. So every day my daughter's like trying to sneak into the room because she knows that grandma's got something in one of those suitcases. So it was just like, it was like a constant. When they left, we had to like fully like whip everybody like back into shape.
What a power grandma move. Because she can get away with it too.
It's amazing.
Good for her.
Fully. And what am I going to say? No, after seeing the kids for a year, you can't. No, you can do whatever you want.
Bring those hula
100%.
Bring 4 of them. Go ahead. Perfect.
So funny.
Well, good answers all around on the Big Mom. Great job.
Thank you.
So let's shift gears a little bit because like we said, you are, sort of child star extraordinaire. You've used it for lots and lots of things. So I'm going to start with the podcast. We're going to start there because you have a very funny podcast.
Thank you.
Worst ever podcast. And like, essentially you use this as a platform to talk about how like humiliating life is. I love it. So like, what prompted that? What was like, because I think most people look at you and they're like, look at Christine Lakin. She's so cute and put together and like, what a talent, like all the things. And meanwhile, you're like, no, guys, you're not hearing me. Like, I'm a mess. And like, so what? Right. It's all for sure. This is all bullshit. Like, I'm a disaster. Like, I feel like anytime people are like, Jess is cool. I'm like, no, she's not. Like, what prompted you to create an entire show around just like being an embarrassment and asking other people about being an embarrassment?
It started, the impetus for it was, I think it was, at least a decade ago. I'm sitting around in a cabin for my friend's birthday. We'd all gone up to the mountains and we were like drinking and telling stories. And so many of us in that group were actors. And we were just telling these like audition stories, like the worst, most humiliating auditions that we've ever been on. Like, and auditions for some reason are just this real like hot pot of things that could potentially go wrong. There's nerves. There's fear, there's forgetting lines, there's bodily functions, there's people in a room. It's just like anything that can happen in this tiny little space in a very condensed period of time is very supercharged. And as actors, you're constantly doing that. You're constantly being vulnerable and like trying to do these things that you're like, what in the world is my life?
Humiliating.
So we started laughing about that. And the idea was sort of born that it should be a live show. And at the time, storytelling was so big. The Moth was going on and Sit and Spin and all these other shows. And so my friend and I created this live show and we ran it here in the basement of a Mexican restaurant for 3 years. And we started with auditions, and then every show became like a different theme. We would talk about breakups. We would talk about sex. We would talk about family. We would talk about, like vacations. like whatever it was. And we would kind of curate these stories. So we would get actors and storytellers, comedians, celebrities, etc. And we would sort of produce it. So in the back, there were like, we'd find found footage or like funny, pictures of the time, or just random things as people are telling their story on stage. And they'd be like making this like reference to something. We would like pop it up on a screen. And it was a really big success. We had a lot of fun with it. We created it into a pilot for a TV network. It didn't go, but we did all this stuff with it. Then I had a kid, and I was like, I'm too tired to go to a Mexican restaurant at like 7:00 and do this show and not be coming home at 1 a.m. So let's do a podcast, because that just seems like the next natural iteration of this show.
It's easy.
And and I can be at home in my sweats and doing it, when my kid's napping. So that's kind of how it evolved into that. And we've done, over 100 episodes, and Allah and I haven't killed each other yet. So that's exciting. We always laugh that he's like the brother I never wanted.
It's really
thank
funny.
you.
Yeah,
It's fun. I mean, it's really, it's sort of evolved over time into really just talking to a lot of people that I know, that I've known from my growing up and from the 90s, and talking to them about how they got their start in the business and what were the pitfalls. And people think this life is so glamorous, and that everyone who has ever been on TV is rich and has butlers and lives this certain way. And like, no one really understands what the other side, like, of the working actor life is like. And the pitfalls that come, or how you get started, and the good things that happen, but how long it takes so many people just to get to, do what they want to do. So, so that's kind of been, it's like really like levels the playing field, I think.
like people don't understand, like, acting's not easy. And like, I don't want to brag. Like, I was in a few crib commercials as a child. I don't want to brag about it, but I grew up on the other side. I grew up like theater nerd.
Yeah.
Two different worlds. But that's why like the audition piece of it is so funny. That stemmed from there, because I think, and a lot of people who watch this show are like on the theater side. I think they're going to listen to that and be like, yeah, it's wild. Like the most embarrassing shit of your life happens in auditions, because it's so small and it's so quick. And then if it gets messed up, it's happened in like a 5-minute span, right? In a 5-minute span, you've embarrassed yourself more than you've ever embarrassed yourself in your whole life. And God forbid you're like, let me try something new.
Oh, it's and I've had so many weird experiences, like from the other side of the table. You're just going in and trying to like keep your focus and do your thing. And generally people are nice and normal about it. But I mean, people would tell these hilarious stories of whoever was on the other side of that table. Like my friend had this story where she's like, I came in and the woman behind the desk was wearing a turtleneck, and she just kept pulling it up. And then she'd be like, okay, now I want you to try one where let's just try the whole thing and you're a little more scared. And she would go inside her turtleneck again. Like, she's like, it was so distracting, because I was like, is she cold? Does she like, what's happening? Like, I couldn't get out of my head because I kept thinking about her hiding in her turtleneck. And like, I used to go in for these commercial auditions, and that's really where it got very strange, because they're always asking you to do these like weird vignettes, and it feels so strange and unnatural. But this guy who used to run this commercial casting office, and everyone would know him in town, but he had this French bulldog, and he would bring his dog to work. All right. But when he was giving you when he would bring you, all right, guys, come in. Everyone, come on in. Okay, guys, this is what I want you to do. And he would turn around and he would have stuck the French bulldog inside of his shirt. So just the head of the French bulldog is sticking out, but he's like super serious. He's like, so I don't want to see any acting. Okay. Don't try to be funny. And he's being like super serious. And there's just this bulldog that's like in his shirt. And I'm like, I cannot take anything you're saying seriously right now. Like it was just like, what is going on? Like, is this what I'm doing for a living?
It is. And so listen, great segue, because it's what you've continued to do for a living.
I know. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, you've made a lot of, since then, a lot of active choices to continue down this path. You've done some cool shit with it though. So like you've gone from, listen, I love your podcast. It's like this fun thing that you're doing, but you've taken your career to like, I think a level that most childhood celebrities or like child celebrities are like, well, I'm never going to do that. Like, yeah, I wasn't that good to begin with. And like, you were good enough to like go do real shit. So like you're directing, you're doing voiceover work. Like tell me your world now. What do you do now?
Yeah. So, well, I obviously peaked in the 90s, so I had to find something else to do. No.
I did wear all of my best 90s gear for you. I have my Billy
I love
Madison
it.
shirt on and my Joey doesn't share food mug.
So good. Sandwiches are my favorite food. So I've always felt a kinship with Joey. So yeah, so I've been acting for a long time.
Yes.
And at some point in like I want to say probably early 30s, I thought, I mean, this is fun, but I've always wanted to do something a little more. Like I've wanted to write my own thing, produce my own thing. That was part and parcel with, Worst Ever becoming a show. And I produced that and really got, the taste of what it would be like to produce and storytell. And so I created a series called Love and Lakin. It was a web series that we shot, my friend and I, and it really came out of, hey, I have a camera. And I was like, okay, maybe I can write something. And we just it was pure fun. I had no expectation really for it. But Hulu ended up buying it. We went to a bunch of festivals with it. It was just like, it's on YouTube if anybody cares, but it's really silly and a lot of fun. And then after that, I was like, okay, that was great. Like what's next, I guess. So after writing and pitching lots of shows, and I kind of went down that route for a while, I had simultaneously been choreographing for a bunch of TV shows. It's like another weird skill people didn't know I had.
Cool. That's so cool.
So I've always was a dancer before I was an actor as a kid. And I had this like skill for talking to actors and then, making up whatever movement was required.
Well,
and
you're friends with the ultimate 90s TV dancer. We can't forget Jodie Sweetin. I mean, well, who's a better hip hop dancer than Stephanie Tanner? So, I mean,
yes.
I don't think anybody's surprised to learn that you're also as good of a dancer, if not better.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
And I hope it's not a competition between you guys, because I'm sure you're both great dancers.
I think she would say that she still got it, and I would agree with her. I think her pas de bourrées need a little help. But
it's not like technical enough on the arm. I get you. Yeah. You got to get right up. You got to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really right up there. So I had started choreographing for the Goldbergs, and that became like just this long job. I started in the first season, and I was doing all the little.
Did you choreograph Beverly Goldberg on roller skates?
Yes, I did. There's a hobo on the train.
Okay, listen, I loved you before this. I'm speechless. My wife would attest. The first time I saw that, I was guffawing. Like I didn't even know what to do with so you choreographed that?
I did.
That's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I have to give Wendy McClendon like most of the credit for anytime I've worked with her specifically. I will give her moves or like, I will say, here's some ideas. And then she is the end all be all. She'll just go out and be her hilarious self. And sometimes she uses some of the things and sometimes she doesn't have to. And she's just like, I know what I'm going to do. But she is like, she can do no wrong. She can do everything. You're like, so I know, Wendy, we're going to do some like, some roller skating. She's like, oh yeah. All right. Well, I've been on skates once or twice. And then she's like, she's like amazing. So,
she's an animal. Oh, it's great. I wish so badly she was a mom, because I'd have her on the show in a second. She's not. She's a cat mom, which
she's a cat
maybe
mom.
I'll make an exception. But
her cats are like children for
That's
sure.
The thing. Okay.
But yeah, so I started doing that. I worked mostly with, the kids on the show. There was always something going on. There's like dirty dancing, flash dance. There would be these like dances where they would have to be doing like safety dance, and none of these kids grew up in the 80s, obviously. So they have no idea what's happening. So I'd have to come in and kind of like, we did a whole Beastie Boys thing. And I was like, which I'm really proud of that Beastie Boys moment. I said, okay, do you guys know the song, Shake Your Rump? You know it? They're like, I'm like, okay, before we learn the dance, we got to learn the song. Sit down. And we like literally learned that rap together. And then we got up and like, we worked on it for like a whole week. It was so much fun. So anyway, that being said, long time doing that for them. And at some point I was, and I'd been directing some of my own stuff, and I was kind of sitting behind the camera and I was thinking to myself, like, I think this is what I really want to be doing. Like I'm watching the director I'm watching what he's doing, and I'm sitting there all day, and I'm thinking like, I've done all these short films, and I've done music videos, like I've done everything I can, but I think like this is where my sweet spot is, because this I understand like implicitly more than anything else in my life. I've been doing this for 30 years. I understand a set. I understand what everybody does. I understand where the camera's going to go. I understand what shots you need. Like, why am I not like, duh, aha, I found it. My parachute is this color, finally at this age of my life. So I just started, trying to put my intention there, and was in a bunch of women's advocacy groups and trying to take meetings and et cetera. And really my first shot came with the Goldbergs. And I think so much of it had to do with, once they knew that's what I wanted to do, but also a lot of people in that cast advocating for me and asking me that I get a shot. And I, again, I give a lot of the people on that set who knew me so well by that point credit for giving me, that kind of boost up and that help. And so I got my first, and then they asked me back, and I did some Schooled, which was their other show. And good. I just finished something for Apple, and now I'm kind of, finding my way. And I like it a lot.
Amazing. Listen, total candor. I did not know you had anything to do with the Goldbergs.
I know. I think I have so many photos. I need to start posting them, because I think a lot of people don't know that I've worked on that show.
And like that show that's awesome. That's really cool. I love it. Well, fun. Listen, you've made quite a career for yourself. So I have one more little thing that we have to talk about, because it's one of my favorite things that's ever hit the internet, before we start to wrap up.
Okay.
And that is cock.
Yeah.
It is cock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just so everyone knows what cock is. Wait, what is, so the acronym is, it's childhood. Is it child celebrities opposed to Kirk Cameron?
Child actors against.
Child actors against.
Again.
Wait, child. I wrote it down because I was like, I'm not going to remember it. Child celebs. Because it's so funny. And they just say cock the whole video. So you're just like, what are you again? So it's child celebs opposed Kirk Cameron.
Against
Kirk Cameron. You're right. Against Kirk, which we all know Kirk Cameron he's a bigot.
He has his beliefs.
Yes.
I happen not to agree with his beliefs. And my friends came up with this idea. They wrote it for Funny or Die. They asked me and a bunch of other people to be involved in it. Look, I'm a big fan of satire. I feel like if we're gonna roast somebody, like let's roast with humor at the very least, and it's like, we're in such a cancel culture. I think there is a way to maybe point out with humor that times are a changing, and it's not acceptable anymore to talk about people or put people in a corner of to what's right and what's wrong. Who's to say? Who's to say? I've always been, an advocate for gay rights, for the LGBTQ community. And I was like, this aligns with what I believe. And I have to tell you, I never expected to go viral, which was hilarious. But it also became, that video years later became a real source of backlash for me, because strangely enough, but I'm okay with it now. I mean, I'll tell you, I talked about my podcast. Yeah. I was fired from Full House.
Fuller House?
Yeah. And I think that video is the reason. Pretty sure.
You were fired from Fuller House? You would have made it better.
Oh, my thanks. I mean, and Jody is obviously not the person that fired me. Jody and I are great friends. But I think, listen, once again, it's, I think the reasons people make for doing whatever their reasoning is probably all based in fear. And it's not my journey. It's not my journey to
you can just sort of pinky up. I thought it was a very pinky up roast. It was like
I felt the same way. And also come on, I don't think, whatever your religious beliefs are, I don't think we can say those types of things in public anymore.
No. And for those people who don't know, Kirk Cameron had said something about gay people being bad and like not liking the homosexual lifestyle.
It was basically like ruining the fabric of the universe or something,
right,
or ruining the civilization of America.
Family,
I don't know.
All the stupid buzzwords that people who hate gay people love to just like throw out. And Christine and a bunch of her cool friends from the 90s made some great video, and I'll find it and post it somewhere. But yeah, it's really funny. So if you got fired for that, then they have no sense of humor, and that's
there you go.
Also, that's a waste. It's not you, it's them.
For sure.
There you go. It's them. Look at that, full circle. So let's start to wrap ourselves up here. I have 2 final questions for you. So you have 2 kids, 5 and 2.5, and I'm sure the half is very important to him. So I'll make sure I say 2.5.
Yes, thank you.
What is something, and I love asking this question because I have moms with, so many different age kids on the show. What is something right now you cannot live without as a mom?
Oh gosh, right now, the last year, honestly, the thing that has been, I said to my husband several times, our double Thule stroller, I'm talking about strollers again. Our double Thule stroller is like it's like a spaceship, this thing. It is like, and we live in a hill. So with all the quarantining and all the walking, I wouldn't be able to get my kids up and down the hill like we do. We like literally stick them in this thing and we're off. And that has been like, I couldn't have survived this year without the ability to stick them both in a stroller and go clear my head,
Good one.
So yeah.
Good one. Okay.
I'm into it.
Good one. Final question. What is something now that you wish you knew before becoming a mom?
Don't be fearful, because it's their journey and you're just here to help them through it.
Bravo. That's a good one. No one said anything like that before. I like that one a lot. Well, listen, my new friend, thank you for coming on the show. Where can people find you? What's the Instagram handle? Where do they look for you? All the stuff. Let's pump it up.
All the stuff, all my things. You can find me at Lakin. And that's Instagram. I also have a Facebook, and you can also follow us at Worst Ever Podcast. And we're Worst Ever Podcast on Facebook as well.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Jess, thank you for having me.
Oh my, come back anytime. Tune in to Shit Moms Won't Say every Monday night at 8. Thank you, and have a great night.